For as long as the stars had been mapped, Earth was a joke. A speck of dust in a crowded galaxy, it spun quietly in the backwaters of the Milky Way. To the great empires, the Zarnathi Hive, the Korvax Syndicate, the Thalarian Ascendancy, Earth was a no-go zone. Not because it was dangerous, because it was pathetic. The Zarnathi, a hive mind of insectoid warriors, scanned Earth's wars and pollution and hissed, a hive of chaos. No unity, no purpose. The Korvax cyborg pirates who sold planets as mining colonies checked Earth's tech and snorted, Stone Age weapons, they still burn oil. The Thellarans, tall and silver-skinned philosophers, wrote reports, primitive, violent, unworthy of contact. Even when humans launched rockets to the moon and Mars, the galaxy rolled its collective eyes. They crawl where we once walked, sighed a Thalaran diplomat. They'll never leave their system. But Earth was listening. The secret. In 2049, after a near-miss nuclear war between superpowers, the United Nations did something radical. They lied. Publicly, they argued over climate deals and trade. Privately, they agreed on one thing: survive. Project Starshield began in Antarctica. Beneath ice sheets, scientists and engineers worked in secret. They studied meteorites that weren't meteorites at all, alien probes that had crashed decades earlier. The Soviets found one in Siberia in 1947. The Americans picked up another in New Mexico in 1949. Earth's governments had hoarded these scraps for generations, reverse engineering tech far beyond their time. By 2075, the first Star Destroyer was built. It was a kilometer long, black as midnight, armed with railguns that fired tungsten rods at Mach 20. Its engines, fusion cores stolen from alien tech. Its crew, a mix of humans and AI, enhanced with neural implants to think faster, react quicker. The world didn't know, not yet. The first test. In 2097, the Korvax came. They arrived in a fleet of jagged ships, their hulls bristling with plasma cannons. Their leader, Warlord Graktoon, broadcast a message to Earth: surrender your resources. Your species will serve us as slaves or be erased. Cities panicked, government scrambled, but in a bunker under Geneva, Earth's leaders hit a button. The sky ripped open. From fake clouds, weather satellites reprogrammed as decoys, dozens of Star Destroyers plummeted. They moved like arrows, silent and deadly. The Korvax opened fire, but their plasma beams fizzled against energy shields stolen from the Thellarans. Earth's weapons answered. Railgun rods the size of buses tore through Korvax ships, punching holes in armor like tinfoil. Fighters launched from the destroyers, tiny dart-like crafts piloted by AI-augmented humans. They danced around Korvax gunships, slicing them apart with laser-guided precision. Graktoon watched his flagship burn from an escape pod. "They're not primitive," he screamed. "They're monsters." By sunset, the Korvax armada was scrap floating in the Pacific. The message. The next day, Earth's global networks broadcast a single line to the galaxy: "Don't test us." The Zarnathi, monitoring from a hidden station near Neptune, recalled their scout ships. "Reassess threat level," buzzed their hive queen. The Thalarans, ever smug, laughed. Earth got lucky. One battle means nothing. But on Earth, the real work began. Factories in China, Russia, and Brazil shifted from cars to starship parts. Gamers and coders were drafted into AI programming labs. Oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico became orbital shipyards. By 2100, Earth had 200 Star Destroyers, the unseen army. Not everyone on Earth knew the truth. Most thought the destroyers were myths, stories to scare kids. But in the shadows, the plan unfolded. A schoolgirl in Mumbai saw a hologram of the battle on her tablet. "They're winning," she whispered, eyes wide. Her teacher shut it off. "Don't believe everything online." But the girl kept watching. In Siberia, a farmer found a glowing shard in his field. a piece of Korvac's hull. He sold it to a black market dealer who sold it to a rebel group. Earth's hiding something, the rebels whispered. In Nairobi, a hacker broke into a military server. She saw schematics for a planet killer, a weapon that could turn Mars into rubble. She deleted the files and vanished. The galaxy thought Earth was weak. They were wrong. The calm before the storm. By 2103, Earth's fleets patrolled the asteroid belt. Miners on Ceres whispered about shadow ships that appeared and vanished watching. A smuggler from Titan told a bar full of aliens, "I saw a human ship vaporize a Korvax freighter for parking in its space." The aliens laughed. Humans? Scared of their own shadows. But the smuggler didn't laugh. They're not scared anymore. Meanwhile, on Earth, children played with toys shaped like star destroyers. Parents bought them as souvenirs. No one told the kids the toys were real, and no one told the galaxy what Earth would do next. Final words. Earth had spent centuries being kicked, looted, and ignored. Now it stood up. The galaxy's empires had dismissed humans as bugs, easy to squash. But bugs build walls, bugs adapt. And when the next alien fleet arrives, the sky will part again. The destroyers will fall, and the stars will learn the truth. Never underestimate a planet that's been pushed too far. The Korvax flagship burned for 3 days. Its molten hull crashed into the Pacific, sending tsunamis toward Japan and California. On Earth, cities held their breath. People crowded around TVs, phones, and radios, waiting for the next move. Would the aliens retaliate? Would Earth's skies rain fire? They didn't. The star destroyers hovered above continents, silent and black. Their railguns cooled. Fighters returned to hangars. But the message was clear. Earth was no longer a target. It was a threat. The battle that changed everything. In the hours after the battle, Earth's leaders met in Geneva. They weren't generals or politicians anymore. They were survivors. President Amina Joe of China, Prime Minister Rafael Ortega of Brazil, and Chancellor Ekaterina Volkov of the Pan-European Union sat around a holographic table, watching replays of the fight. "Did we just start a war?" Volkov asked, her voice shaky. "No," Joe said. "We ended one before it began." Ortega pointed to a feed from New York. Crowds danced in Times Square, waving flags and cheering. A street artist painted a mural of a star destroyer soaring over the Statue of Liberty. "They're calling us heroes," he muttered. Joe frowned. "We're not heroes. We're ready." The galaxy reacts. Light years away, the Yalari Concordance, a diplomatic alliance of 12 species, scrambled to respond. On their floating capital station, Harmony's Edge, ambassadors argued. "They destroyed a Korvax armada," hissed a Yalari diplomat, her skin shimmering with panic. "That's not possible." "They used primitive physics," snapped a Thalaran senator, his silver robes flaring. "Kinetic weapons, throwing rocks, that's not innovation." A Zarnathi envoy buzzed coldly. "They are dangerous. Their unity is unnatural." The room fell silent. For centuries, the galaxy had dismissed Earth as a failed hive. Humans fought themselves, polluted their planet, and clung to outdated ideas like nations and money. But now, the star destroyers were crewed by AI human hybrids, soldiers with neural implants linking their minds to machines. They could react in milliseconds, coordinate fleets with a thought, and pilot fighters without blinking. "Scrap analysis," the Zarnathi envoy continued. "We must reassess." The defector. Meanwhile, Earth's spies worked fast. In the asteroid belt, a junior Thalarian officer named Varek 9 smuggled himself onto a human freighter. He wore a stolen jumpsuit and carried a data crystal filled with secrets. At a dock in Ceres, he met Colonel Diego Marquez of Earth's Interstellar Intelligence Division. Marquez, a scarred veteran with an implant glowing faintly in his temple, stared at the Thalarian. "You're risking death," Marquez said. "You're risking everything," Virak 9 replied. He handed over the crystal. "You're kind. You're not what we thought." The files inside revealed Earth's true edge. Nanobots that ate asteroid rock to build weapons, drones piloted by uploaded human minds, and a secret project called Project Iron Bloom. Factories on Mars and Luna churning. Outships faster than any empire could match. Marquez grinned. "Tell your bosses to stay away, or we'll bloom all over their worlds." The Schoolgirl and the Soldier. Back on Earth, 14-year-old Priya Mehta watched the battle footage on her tablet. She lived in Mumbai, where skyscrapers still bore scars from old wars. Her parents were engineers who'd worked on Project Starshield, but they'd never told her the truth. "Did you see this?" she asked her teacher, Ms. Rao. "The Korvax said Earth was weak, but we won." Ms. Rao shut off the screen. "Don't believe everything online, Priya." But Priya knew better. She'd seen the way her mother's eyes lit up when she talked about the new alloys. She'd overheard her father whispering about AI synchronization. That night, Priya hacked into her school's network and found a hidden file. Star Destroyer crew roster. Names like Lite John Reyes and Swemder Aisha Patel scrolled down the screen. She zoomed in on a photo of Reyes, his eyes glowing faintly blue. "They're part machine," she whispered. The Martian Mayor's Joke. On Mars, the first human colony celebrated with a party. Mayor Elena Cruz stood on a platform, holding a makeshift microphone. She was a former miner turned leader, her skin weathered by radiation suits and sarcasm. "To Earth," she shouted. "And to the idiots who thought we'd stay quiet forever," the crowd roared. Behind her, a new statue stood in the colony's plaza, a Martian mayor holding a sign that read, "No trespassing." Kids climbed it, laughing, but Cruz's smile faded as she stared at the sky. "They'll come back," she muttered to her aide, "and next time, we'd better be ready." The Korvax final log. In the Pacific, divers recovered a Korvax data core from the flagship's wreckage. On a screen in Geneva, Joe Volkov and Ortega watched the final moments of Warlord Groktoon. The video flickered. Groktoon's face, jagged teeth, red eyes, filled the screen. "They're not using lasers," he barked. "They're throwing mountains." A railgun rod smashed into the bridge, ending the feed. Ortega laughed. They didn't even see it coming. Joe wasn't smiling. They will. The new normal. By 2100, Earth's factories ran nonstop. In Siberia, robots welded starship hulls under the northern lights. In Nairobi, coders trained AI to pilot drones. In the Amazon, miners dug for rare metals to fuel the war effort. Children grew up with star destroyers as toys. Parents told them stories of the Korvax Day, when Earth stood up to the stars. But not everyone celebrated. In a hidden lab beneath the Himalayas, scientists worked on Project Planet Killer. A young engineer named Luis Ferreira stared at the schematics. "This could turn Mars into rubble," he said. His mentor, Dr. Amara Singh, nodded. "Then we'd better hope we never have to use it." It's the galaxy's fear. Back on Harmony's edge, the Yalari Concordance voted. "Earth is a Class 1 existential threat," declared the Yalari diplomat. "We must act." The Thalaran senator sneered. "Act how? They have more ships than, we do." A Zarnathi envoy buzzed softly. "They are evolving faster than any hive." The room fell silent again. Earth's comms pinged the galaxy. "Don't test us." But the galaxy had already started testing, and Earth was ready. Final words. The Korvax had come to conquer. They left as ash. The galaxy had laughed. Now it trembled. And Earth was just getting started. Across the galaxy, alien empires scrambled. Earth's victory over the Korvax wasn't just a shock, it was a warning. The Yalari Concordance, the Zarnathi Hive, and the Thalarian Ascendancy had spent centuries dominating the Milky Way, carving up planets like spoils of war. Now, a planet they'd dismissed as a primitive mudball had vaporized an entire armada with weapons that shouldn't exist. On Harmony's edge, the Yalari's floating capital station, diplomats argued in circles. "They're not just advanced," hissed a Yalari envoy, her skin flickering red with fear. "They're hungry. Look at their factories." Holofeeds played footage of Earth's cities. In Shanghai, skyscrapers doubled as fusion reactors. In Siberia, robots mined asteroids for metal. In the Amazon, children played with drones that could outmaneuver fighter jets. A Thalaran senator slammed his fist on the table. "They're outproducing us, how?" A Zarnathi envoy buzzed coldly. "They've fused biology and machine. Their soldiers think faster than ours. Their AI learns in seconds." Silence fell. The galaxy's oldest rule, might makes right, was crumbling. Earth wasn't playing by the rules. The Martian Mayor's Warning. On Mars, Mayor Elena Cruz stood at the edge of the colony's dome, staring at the red horizon. Her aide, a wiry engineer named Kofi Mensa, joined her. "They're coming," she said. Kofi frowned. "Who? The Thalarans?" "All of them." She tapped her wrist pad, pulling up an intercepted message from Harmony's edge. "The Yalari are forming a coalition. They'll hit us before we spread farther." Kofi paled. "We're not ready," Cruz smirked. "Then we'd better act like we are." She marched to the colony's central plaza, where the no trespassing statue still drew crowds. "Workers!" she shouted. "The galaxy thinks we're weak. Let's show them what Martians do to trespassers." The crowd roared. Behind, her construction bots began carving new words into the statue's base. "Try it and see." The Iron Blossoms. Earth's expansion accelerated. By 2105, Star Destroyers patrolled the asteroid belt, escorting mining ships harvesting platinum from Ceres. On Titan, a moon of Saturn, humans built the first off-world fusion plant, its reactors glowing like miniature suns. Europa's ice cracked open to reveal geothermal bases, their lights twinkling beneath the frozen ocean. But the real power lay in Earth's factories. In Lagos, a former textile mill now churned out drone swarms by the millions. In Houston, a retired NASA engineer oversaw the assembly of planet-killer prototypes, massive railguns capable of firing asteroids at enemy fleets. A young coder named Luis Ferreira worked in one of these labs. He stared at his screen, watching simulations of a Star Destroyer's AI outmaneuvering 5 Thalaran cruisers. "We're unstoppable," he muttered. His mentor, Dr. Amara Singh, shook her head. "No one's unstoppable. We just have a head start." Luis frowned. "Then what happens when the galaxy catches up?" Amara didn't answer. She was too busy reprogramming the AI's mercy protocols. The Defector's Gift. Meanwhile, Virek 9, the Thalarian defector, sat in a dimly lit bunker under Geneva's Starshield HQ. Across the table, Colonel Diego Marquez leaned forward. "You said your people have a weapon," Marquez said. "What kind?" Virek 9's silver skin shimmered nervously. "A gravity bomb. It can collapse a star into a black hole." Marquez froze. "You're joking." "I wish I were." Virek 9 slid a data crystal across the table. "The blueprints are there, but there's a catch." Marquez inserted the crystal into his tablet. The screen filled with diagrams of a spherical device, its core glowing ominously. "What's the catch?" "The bomb requires a rare isotope, Thalarium-9, found only on our homeworld." Marquez grinned. "Then we're paying the Thalarans a visit." The Schoolgirls' Rebellion. Back in Mumbai, 14-year-old Priya Mehta hacked into a military server for the 3rd time that week. Her parents had warned her about digital curfews, but she didn't care. The truth was out there, and she'd find it. Tonight, she found something new, a file labeled Project Iron Bloom. She clicked it open. The screen filled with schematics of star destroyers, but these were different. Their hulls were lined with glowing nodes, and their engines pulsed with organic patterns. Biomechanical fusion, Priya whispered. They're alive? A knock at her door made her jump. Priya, her mother called. Bedtime. Coming. Priya shut off the screen, but not before downloading the file. Later, she stared at the ceiling, her mind racing. If the ships are alive, what about the crew? The Battle of Europa. The Thalarans struck first. In early 2106, a fleet of 6 warships emerged from warp near Europa. Their leader, High Commander Zelvarn, broadcast a message to Earth. Your rebellion ends here. Surrender your technology or be erased. Europa's base scrambled. Commander Aisha Patel, a Star Destroyer pilot with neural implants glowing faintly in her temples, launched from the ice-covered hangar. Her fighter, a dart-like craft with plasma thrusters, joined dozens of others in a swarm above the moon. The Thalarans opened fire. Beams of energy sliced through the dark, but Patel's AI-enhanced reflexes danced around the shots. Lock onto their engines, she ordered her wing. Let's send them back to their masters in pieces. The battle was over in 12 minutes. By dawn, the Thalaran flagship drifted in ruins, its hull torn open by railgun rods. Patel's fighter hovered nearby, her voice crackling over the comms. Tell your bosses, Earth doesn't surrender. The galaxy's fear turns to rage. On Harmony's edge, the Yalari Concordance voted unanimously. Earth was now Class 1 existential threat. We must act, declared the Yalari diplomat, before they spread farther. The Thalaran. Senator sneered. Act how? They've outgunned us twice. The Zarnathi envoy buzzed coldly. We unite. We strike as one. But unity was a myth in the galaxy. The Zarnathi wanted to enslave Earth's humans. The Yalari wanted to erase them. The Thalarans wanted revenge, and Earth? Earth was already 3 steps ahead. The Hidden Weapon. In the Himalayan lab, Dr. Amara Singh stood before a massive chamber filled with swirling green light. Inside floated a sphere the size of a car, its surface etched with glowing runes. Project. Planet Killer, she whispered. Beside her, Luis Ferreira frowned. It's just a railgun. Why the secrecy? Amara shook her head. This isn't just a railgun, it's a key. She activated the controls. The sphere pulsed, and the runes flared. A hologram appeared, a map of the galaxy, with glowing dots, marking alien worlds. Luis gasped. You're not just defending Earth, you're planning to conquer the galaxy. Amara's face darkened. We're making sure no one ever threatens us again. Or final words. The galaxy had laughed at Earth. Now it trembled. The Zarnathi mobilized their hive fleets. The Thalarans rebuilt their warships. The Yalari plotted sabotage. But Earth didn't wait. Star destroyers prowled the void. Factories hummed with purpose. Soldiers sharpened their minds with AI. And in the shadows, Project Planet Killer waited. The stars had underestimated humanity once. They wouldn't make that mistake twice. By 2105, Earth's fleets ruled the Orion Spur. Star destroyers patrolled trade routes, their black hulls gleaming under alien suns. Colonies bloomed on Titan, Europa, and Vega 3, each guarded by orbital turrets and drone swarms. The galaxy had learned the rules. Rule 1. Don't attack Earth. Rule 2. Don't threaten Earth's allies. Rule 3. Don't even look at Earth funny. But rules were made to be broken. The Gorks Incident. The Gorks were a warlike species from the Andromeda Galaxy. Their ships were jagged, their language a guttural roar, and their patience thin. When a Terran convoy docked at a mining colony near their space, the Gorks saw red. They steal our stars, bellowed Warlord Karzak. We crush them, his fleet ambushed the convoy, vaporizing 2 freighters before the Star Destroyers arrived. What followed was a massacre. Commander John Reyes, his neural implants buzzing with data, led the counterattack. His destroyer, Iron Resolve, fired railgun rods that tore through Gork's hulls like paper. Fighters swarmed like hornets, hacking into enemy comms to broadcast a loop of Karzak's own war cries. Karzak watched from his bridge as his ships turned to scrap. They're not warriors. They're demons. When the last Gork ship exploded, Earth's comms pinged the galaxy. Next time we skip the warning. The Gork's homeworld now orbits as 12 radioactive chunks. The statue that said, no. On Vega 3, Earth's newest colony, Mayor Elena Cruz unveiled a statue. It was a towering figure of a Martian miner holding a sign that read, no, trespassing. Kids climbed it, tourists snapped photos, and diplomats called it unnecessarily aggressive. Cruz didn't care. We're not here to be polite, she told a reporter. We're here to survive. Behind her, Vega 3's fusion reactors hummed, powering a shield that could deflect asteroid strikes. In the distance, drone swarms patrolled the skies, their AI scanning for threats. A Thalaran spy watched from a nearby cafe. He'd come to sabotage the reactors but left after seeing the statue. Earth doesn't play fair, he muttered to his contact. They're not just soldiers, they're farmers, builders, they turn every rock into a weapon. The Defector's Warning. Back on Earth, Virek 9 paced his safe house in Geneva. The Thalarian defector had traded his silver skin for a human disguise, a wig of synthetic hair, contact lenses to hide his glowing eyes. Colonel Diego Marquez entered, tossing a data pad on the table. Your people are mobilizing, he said. They're forming a coalition with the Zarnathi and Yalari, Virek 9 sighed. They'll fail, Marquez raised an eyebrow. You sound sure. I've seen your labs, Virek 9 said. Your AI learns faster than ours. Your drones adapt mid-fight. You're not just fighting with weapons, you're fighting with time. Marquez grinned. Then help us win faster. Virek 9 hesitated. There's something else. A threat your kind hasn't noticed. Spit it out. The void sung. Marquez frowned. What's that? A shadow. A hunger. It eats stars. My people ignored it, until it swallowed 3 colonies last year. Marquez's smile faded. Where is it now? Virek 9 pointed to a star map. Here, heading toward Sol. The schoolgirls' rebellion. In Mumbai, Priya Mehta hacked deeper. She'd cracked Project Ironbloom's security and found files labeled biomechanical fusion. The screen filled with diagrams of star destroyers, their hulls lined with organic tissue. They're alive, she whispered. Her tablet buzzed. A message popped up. Stop digging, Priya. You won't like what you find. Priya froze. Someone was watching. The next day, her parents were gone. Their bedroom drawers hung open, clothes missing. A note lay on the kitchen table. We love you. Stay safe. Priya packed a bag, grabbed her tablet, and vanished into Mumbai's crowded streets. The Martian Mayor's Secret. Mayor Cruz received a hologram call from Geneva. President Joe's face appeared stern and tired. We need to talk about the void song, Joe said. Cruz leaned back in her chair. That's what the Thalarian defector warned us about? Yes. And it's real. We've got drones watching it. It's a black sphere, growing every day. Cruz frowned. Any idea what it is? No. But we're building a new weapon. Planet Killer Mark II. Cruz stared at the holofeed. You're going to turn Mars into bait, aren't you? Joe didn't answer. The Battle of Titan. Yalari struck first. A fleet of cloaked warships emerged above Titan, their plasma beams slicing through the fusion plant's defenses. But Earth was ready. Commander Aisha Patel launched from the surface, her fighter weaving through fire. All units, engage, she barked. Star destroyers dropped from orbit, railguns roaring. Drone swarms formed a shimmering net, hacking Yllari. Shields. A Yllari captain recorded his final log. They're everywhere. The machines. They think. By sunset, Titan's skies glowed with burning Yllari ships. Patel hovered over the ruins, her voice calm over the comms. Tell your bosses. Earth doesn't negotiate with terrorists. The hidden cost. In the Himalayan lab, Dr. Amara Singh argued with Luis Ferreira. You're turning Mars into a weapon, Luis said. What happens to the colonists? Amara's voice was cold. Collateral damage. Luis slammed his fist on the table. They're people, not numbers on a screen. Amara stared at him. Would you rather let the Void Sung eat Earth? Luis didn't answer. Outside, the planet killer hummed, its core glowing brighter. The schoolgirls. Escape. Priya reached the outskirts of Mumbai, her tablet buzzing with encrypted files. She'd found a message buried in Project Iron Bloom's servers. Biomechanical fusion, Phase 3, total assimilation of human soldiers. Her breath hitched. The neural implants weren't just upgrades. They were replacing the soldiers. Mind's van screeched to a halt beside her. The door slid open. Inside sat Virek 9. Get in, he hissed. They'll kill you if they catch you. Priya hesitated. Why help me? Virek 9's silver skin shimmered. Because Earth's winning the wrong war. The galaxy's last hope. On Harmony's edge, the Yllari Concordance held an emergency meeting. They're unstoppable, screamed the Yllari diplomat. Their factories, their AI, their madness. The Thalaran senator sneered. Then we run. We abandon the Milky Way. The Zarnathi envoy buzzed coldly. No, we unite. We strike as one. But unity was a myth. The Zarnathi wanted slaves. The Yllari wanted peace. The Thalarans wanted revenge. And Earth? Earth was already building its next move. Final words. The galaxy thought Earth was a monster. Earth thought the galaxy was boring. Wars, politics, petty alliances. Earth had moved on. The Void Sung was coming, and Earth's real fight was just beginning. The Void Sung arrived in 2112. It wasn't a ship, not a monster, not even alive by Earth standards. It was a hunger, a black sphere growing larger with every star it swallowed. Entire systems vanished silently. A flicker of light, then nothing. The galaxy's greatest minds called it the end of physics. The Thalarans named it Kethra, the devourer of worlds. Earth's spies sent warnings. Colonies on Europa and Titan evacuated. In Geneva, President Joe stood before the Global Defense Council, her face lit by the glow of a star map. Red dots marked the Void Sung's path. One remained untouched. Sol, Earth's home system. We fight here, Joe said, or we lose everything. The last stand. Earth's fleets gathered. 200 star destroyers formed a ring around the sun, their railguns loaded with tungsten rods and fusion warheads. Orbital factories spat out drones by the millions. On Mars, the planet killer hummed to life, its massive barrel aimed at the void. Commander John Reyes stood on the bridge of Iron Resolve, his neural implants buzzing with data. We've beaten pirates, dictators, and fools, he told his crew. This thing, it's not even scared of us. Then we'll scare it, muttered Commander Aisha Patel, her fighter squadrons buzzing like bees around the destroyers. The Void Sung emerged. It was bigger than a planet, blacker than space. Light bent around it, warping the stars into grotesque shapes. Earth's sensors went silent. Radar, sonar, even neutrino scans. Nothing worked. It's not a thing, whispered a scientist in Geneva. It's a hole in reality. Joe gave the order. Fire. The Battle of Seoul. Railgun rods slammed into the Void Sung. They vanished, leaving no trace. Fusion bombs detonated on its surface. Useless. The Void Sung kept coming, swallowing. Mercury's orbit. Switch to Plan B, Reyes shouted. Star destroyers repositioned. Their engines flared, firing beams of concentrated sunlight into the void. The Voidsung shuddered. For the first time, it hesitated. It reacts to energy, Patel realized. Hit it with everything. Fighters launched EMP drones. Titans. Fusion plants beamed power to orbital mirrors. Even Earth's weather satellites redirected solar radiation. The sun became a weapon. For 14 days, the sky flickered with every color of rage. Then, silence. The Voidsung cracked. A jagged line split, its surface spilling light like a wound. It imploded, collapsing into a point smaller than a grain of sand. The shock wave blew out windows on Venus. Earth's comms pinged the galaxy. Turns out we're better at existential threats than you. The cost victory had scars. Mars's colony was gone. Half the star destroyers were scrap. In Mumbai, Priya Mehta watched the battle on her tablet, hiding in a Thalarian defector's safehouse. She'd stolen files proving Project Iron Bloom wasn't just about survival. It was about control. They're turning humans into machines, she whispered to Virek 9. What happens when the war ends? Do they stop? Virek 9's silver, skin shimmered. They won't. Power's too sweet. On Earth, President Joe addressed the world. We've proven we can protect our home, she said. But her eyes lingered on a report. Mars colony lost. Casualties, 300,000. Colonel Diego. Marquez met her in a bunker afterward. The people deserve the truth, he said. They'll get the version that keeps us safe, Joe replied coldly. The new empire. The galaxy bowed. The Zarnathi surrendered their hive fleets, offering slaves in exchange for peace. The Yalari concordants begged for alliances. Even the Thelerons, ever proud, handed over their gravity bomb blueprints. But Earth had moved on. In the Himalayan lab, Dr. Amara Singh stood before the planet killer Mark II. We don't need allies, she told Luis Ferreira. We're the only ones left who can fight. Luis stared at her. You're not fighting anymore, you're conquering. Amara's voice hardened. Same thing. Across the solar system, colonies bloomed. Each bore a statue of the Martian mayor holding his no trespassing sign. But the signs were changing. New words carved themselves into stone. Join us or be erased. The schoolgirls' rebellion. Priya and Virek 9 hacked into a Terran broadcast tower in Nairobi. Her fingers flew across a keyboard, uploading the Iron Bloom files. This'll show them, she said. Virek 9 watched her. They'll hunt you for this, she smiled. Let them try. The files spread. Like fire. Hollow feeds across Earth showed soldiers with glowing eyes, their minds fused to machines. Workers in Siberia read reports of Mars's destruction. A farmer in Brazil whispered to his son, "We're not saving Earth. We're becoming monsters." The Bite final message. In 2115, Earth launched its first warp gate. It hovered above the Pacific, a ring of glowing metal humming with energy. The label read, Milky Way Exit. President Joe stood before it. We've protected our home, she declared. Now we'll protect the galaxy. But in the shadows, Colonel Marquez met with rebels. Priya's leaks had sparked protests. Soldiers questioned their implants. Workers refused to build weapons. They've made us fearless, Marquez told a crowd of dissenters. Now we've got to make them afraid of us. Final words. Earth didn't conquer the galaxy. It outscrapped, outcoded, and out-rage quit. Every foe. The destroyers still sail the stars, but their greatest weapon wasn't metal or code. It was the fury of a species told no, one too many times. The Voidsung is gone. The galaxy is quiet. And humanity? Humanity is watching, waiting. For the next threat, waiting to prove they'll never be weak again. The end.